if I'm in the club, I got that fire when I'm performing. The back end just came in and all honest. Vibes galore, cute shit, they all on us. I'm from Atlanta where young niggas run.
Thank you all for tuning in to You Are Art. This is my update video, 1 year wearing Moldavite. I will say that, oddly enough, the last video I posted, well really the first video I posted about Moldavite was exactly a year ago. It was May 10th. Today's the 11th. Hopefully I can get it on by tonight. I think it's really special to be able to reflect a year later after wearing this big piece of meteorite around my neck. So for those of you who don't know what Moldavite is, just to give you a brief synopsis, it's not a real crystal, it's an actual meteorite, and it landed in the Czech Republic 15 million years ago. So it does best with cleansing in the dirt and water, muddy areas, murky, because that's kind of like where it landed in this planet, but know that it's not from this planet. So I definitely think that's a really cool attribute about this stone is if you identify with being a star seed, for instance, or star child, such as like an indigo or a rainbow child, these type of stones are very supportive. Even if you're an empath, this stone can be extremely supportive because it's from outer space, if that makes sense. And what it will do is it will elevate you to higher levels and higher frequencies by bringing upon drastic change in your life, only to evolve you further and at a rapid pace. So that's basically the gist of it. It is a very powerful feeling stone. If you're sensitive, it can make you sick, especially when you first start to wear this stone. However, over time, you will definitely get used to it, which is nice. Okay, so to begin, I will say, obviously, I look totally different, and that's just the outward. I honestly feel like this has been the most transformational year of my entire life. Okay, like, I'm just thinking about it. Like, I was living in DC this time last year, and although I knew that I was going to study shamanism, along with getting a graduate degree, so on the side I knew that I was going to study shamanism, I had no idea that I would be taking this route, okay? And this route is definitely more in alignment with plant medicine, and although I do like the typical shamanic learning, like such as journeying with drums, I do that. However, the plants have definitely been calling me, and I just never thought I would be working with plants, okay? There's just so many things that have been shifting, and so I'll start from that. So aside from the fact that I look different, I'm in a whole different place, and I'll say that for mentally, emotionally, spiritually, on the level of my soul, I feel much more connected with like the deepest most inner part of my being. On a daily basis, I feel more in tune with my spirit team. Okay, like it's just my spirit guides that I've been really building and harnessing beautiful relationships and ties with that have been truly helping me along the way. So I will add in that although I do feel that Moldavite is such a powerful stone to wear and it will bring drastic change in your life, it will also support other tools that you're using. So if you are if you are connecting with spirit guides, right? So the Moldavite will assist you in that. Anything that's of a higher frequency, Moldavite will assist you with, which is one thing I've noticed. I will say that my mind has been opening so much since being in this program at Naropa University. It's called Resilient Leadership, and really it's about studying sustainability and social justice. And before I joined the program, I had no intentions of caring about the environment, not on like an intellectual level. I was one of those people who were like, I don't watch the news because it's depressing, so out of sight, out of mind, in a sense, you know, like many people I know, it's almost like a numbing factor. We tend to, oh, I don't want to talk about that, let's talk about something more cheerful, let's lighten the mood. But what all that's doing is just one, living in denial, and two, perpetuating the situation because nothing is happening about it. Now, after joining this leadership program, I will say I'm learning so much about our world and the crisis that we're in, and the fact that we have 10 years to fix things, or else we will not be living on a functioning planet. And basically everything, everyone dies, the planet dies, crumbles, and there's nothing left of it based on the abuse we've been giving to the earth. And like, it's something that people don't really talk about. Like, I had to recently do a research paper on where my family is from, which is Haiti, and specifically about the earthquake in 2010. Excuse me. And the earthquake in 2010, everybody remembers and can clearly recall when all these text messages were going up, commercials, ads, donate, aid relief, billions of dollars were sent there for aid relief, yet nothing has really happened. They're building recreational centers and soccer fields, but in a place as poor as Haiti, being the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, the last thing they need to be having are new soccer fields when they can play soccer in their backyards, on the street if they don't have backyards, because the harsh reality is there are still tent cities, okay? Tent cities are still there. Infrastructure has not been rebuilt. And so what I've learned within this research, and I know I'm going off on a tangent, but it's really something that should be talked about on a regular basis. And the fact that humans in our society, and really globally, don't question, where did all the money go, is not only mind-boggling, but it's heartbreaking. It is so sad to know that we live in a world where people can just dismiss the environmental injustice that's happening on a global scale. People like Haitians, a lot of them are not literate, so they don't have a voice to speak and to advocate for their causes, and the fact that they're still living in tents. The fact that they still have sanitary issues and only 50% of the children are going to school. 1 out of every 2 drinks unclean water. I mean, the list can go on, and none of it is pleasant. Yet nobody cares. It's just easier to like, oh, let's party and let's get drunk and avoid the reality, the harsh reality of people really suffering in the world, when honestly, if we all gave a little bit of ourselves, we could literally make a difference. And so this is what's been opening up for me. Like, I never, not to say that I would never care, because I do have heart. Of course I would care, but I would be out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to read a book or something and just not focus on these things, when that's just not okay. It's just not our responsibility as humans, in my opinion. And I'm truly grateful that this has shifted within me, because I'd rather be the person that cares to try to do something, even if it's a small difference, than to be the person who cares but doesn't have the balls and courage to do anything that may make a difference. You know? So what else has been happening? Yes, I do feel like I've been going through a whole year-long rebirthing process, and I feel like it's still happening. I'm still enveloping into this flower, it feels like, almost. And I'm just really grateful to be where I'm at on this personal evolution. I feel like I've been taking the time to heal really deep wounds, and I still have a really long way to go. However, I feel like I have come a long way within this 1 year. And one thing that studying plant medicines has done for me is it has also been very transformational, sitting in ceremonies and going to that higher vibrational level, right? So the more you do activities in your life that bring about healing and self-love and things that are going to make you feel more whole within, is the more that Moldavite will keep supporting you in that way and really elevate you. It's definitely an ascension stone, because I don't think I've ascended this much in this short period of a time ever in my entire life, which I feel like says a lot. I'm totally a different person. My interests are different. I don't know. I'm in love with Mother Earth all of a sudden, and that is a part of the reason why I love the plant medicines and the healing attributes that they can medicinally give you, is that they're so connected from the way of the earth. The indigenous people, they knew about plant medicines for thousands of years. They didn't have pharmacies and prescription pills full of toxins and chemicals, even though those pills themselves come from plants. all medicine comes from plants. And so this is like a whole new world that has literally just opened to me with wide arms, and that I'm just so grateful and really in love with where I'm at in my place in life. And I do want to say that with humility. Like, I am human, and I do have days when, like, I'm not the most grateful, or I can be having a hard day sometimes. But taking a step back and really looking from an objective perspective, like, think about it. Like, how are you enjoying your life when you take the step back, when you take out the complaining mind, and you take out the bills and the worries that are coming up in your personal life? When you take a step back and you look at your journey and you see that your accomplishments, even however big or small, material or non-material, when you look at those things, you can gain a sense of appreciation for them and really enjoy being you, which is something that I think is so primal in being alive. I think being alive is such a gift, because we do have the accessibility to enjoy being ourselves, being these whole and complete, loving entities full of intelligence. And that's the other thing about plant medicine is you're embodying spirit of intelligence, and a consciousness, an energy that's willing to intertwine with you of a higher intelligence. That is the indigenous way of having reverence for even non-living entities, right? So trees. So it doesn't even have to serve a medicinal purpose, but the fact that it is a non-living or living entity, it comes from the earth, and having reverence. Same thing goes for your brother and your sisters, having reverence for them and respect and honoring, but also starting with yourself, because you too are of the earth. So having Moldavite, this beautiful, beautiful meteorite that's not from the earth but has been living here for 15 million years, is not only rare, but it's so special and unique to have an assistant on your path that can kind of be like a companion, a partner. And you know that when things start hitting the fan, or when change starts happening really quickly, because that will definitely occur with Moldavite, you will have constant change. You'll know that you're not doing it alone. And I'm not saying to not turn to God or the higher power for those things, and to know that the Creator is always with you. I think it's nice to know that the Creator created not only you, but another non-living entity, that has these special capabilities to give you this shared relationship that you can start building. And I always find it interesting when children, oh my goodness, children love this stone. And I find it so interesting because they just came from the stars. They were most recently there. So I think that's really special. And whenever people do tend to compliment me on it, or like, oh, I like that, I do always let them know that maybe you should check it out, because maybe it's calling you. Same thing goes for anybody watching this video. I definitely feel like things of the earth do call us, whether they're signs, plants, medicinal things, healing things. It can be a crystal, it can be Moldavite. I feel like if you're watching this video, it's definitely calling you, and it's for a reason. And I say this in like all my Moldavite videos, is I definitely recommend taking courage. So my phone keeps dying on me, saying that I don't have storage. So I'm going to try to make this very concise for the remainder of the video. I was saying that it's important to take courage, because this stone can be very intense. Even if you're living a hermit life like I am kind of sometimes. I stay in a lot, very introverted lately. So you would think a lot wouldn't happen. I'm talking about things are happening non-stop, okay? Like every week there's some kind of intensity going on. So it can be very intense. That is why it's also really important to meditate and keep that as a regular practice, because it will really support you and bring you to a balanced place. You really want to be balanced while wearing this high vibrational, high frequency stone to help keep you grounded. That is very important. I'm trying to wrap up here because I don't want it to turn off again. But just to show you, I feel like the more open that you are, the more benefits you'll receive. I do feel like if you're closed off to a powerful stone like this, nothing will happen. If you believe that it's placebo, nothing will happen. But if you go in with openness, there will be so... Anyway, just to wrap up, I'll say that there has been great changes. I just got back from India less than a month ago. I was there on behalf of charity work in honor of my son Camden, which is why I'm wearing a K. His birthday is tomorrow, so I'll be celebrating him and the blessing he brought into my life. Maybe I'll do a video about my trip to India because it was specifically around charity work and giving back. And now next week I'll be going on a wilderness solo, which is pretty big. It's a part of my program for graduate school. Deciding to be a resilient leader. They want to teach us survival skills. Now, for someone who has never been camping like me, my friend said recently, he's like, Vanessa, it's like you're going from 0 to 100. Because I never went camping, now I'll be in a wilderness solo. So these are the things that will happen. And it's not just on a wilderness solo, we'll be sleeping in a teepee, okay? So, is it a teepee or a tarp? One of them. I don't even know what neither of them look like, but it's basically nothing, okay? What else do I want to say before it's time to go? Nothing other than just thank you for listening, and if you want to know more about my story with Camden, I do have some videos in my playlist, I believe, or it's in my stories. Anyway, maybe I'll do a video about that separately, but he was my 9-month-old son who lived for precious 9 months, and he was the biggest and bestest blessing of my entire life. And I will say that he was definitely the start of my transformational journey. I just feel like since I've been wearing Moldavite, it's been on, like, kickstart. I don't know if that's, you know what I mean. It's been like crazy. And yeah, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe. Happy Moldavite journeys. Don't worry, you're not doing it alone. And peace and love. Many blessings to all of y'all. Namaste. Ja Rastafari.
You gon' fuck around and drown off this way. Doing all these shows. I've been on the road. I don't care where I go, long as I get paid. Bad little vibe. She been on my mind. Soon as I